Welcome everyone to How to Build Your Website. I am Philip Precis. I have 10 years experience in strategizing, creating, developing web solutions, lead funnels and optimizing conversions for ASX 200 listed companies, large and small online retailers and small businesses. I've lectured in web design principles and digital strategy and have worked both client side and agency side for some of the biggest businesses in Australia. If you want to catch us on Twitter, ABCS webinar, you can hashtag that. We would love you to hashtag that if possible, and we can stay in contact and send you messages through the actual webinar too. So the flow for today, what we're going to learn: why you need a website, a complex situation, and tips to leverage your online presence. Let's get started. Why you need a website. 97% of consumers research your business online first before they actually come visit your store. So if you're not present online, you've got a big chance of they won't turn up. Australia online. 14.3 million Aussies go online monthly. 72% of those go online every day, and 7.8 million Aussies shop online. 75% of purchases are from Aussie retailers. More than half of Aussies have smartphones and 32% access the internet through their mobiles. So all the facts that you're hearing that people are shopping overseas, it's not true. So don't miss out. In 2007 and 2008, Aussie business received online orders of 23%. That's in 2012 to 2011 to 2012, this grew to 28%. Income earned in 2008 was $81 billion. In 2012, it's reached $237 billion all up. Asia is one of the biggest markets at the moment and is still growing every day. By 2020, online sales in Asia will exceed $65 billion. That's greater than combined sales of US, UK, Japan, France, Germany, and of course us here in Australia. Expanding your reach on the international stage. This is a map of online retail sales as a percentage of revenue. US gets 7.5%, the UK gets 9%, Australia gets 5.5%, and New Zealand gets 5.1% of online sales. Trends and ideas. This is where I go into a few companies actually in Australia doing things a little differently. This small store, it's based in Cooma, not exactly the fashion capital of the world, in Australia, in a small city in Australia, small town in Australia actually. And what they do, they have minimum stock of everything, and they only have one size in store. So what clients do is go into the store, look around, try things on, and once they're ready to pay, they pay, and they get delivery of their items separately in 1 or 2 hours after they actually buy in the store. Something a little different. Traditional sharing has changed a lot, and what it looks like online these days is social sharing. Black Milk, the clothing company, they've made a massive impact on social media and online. They have zero budget in marketing. The likes actually at the moment have hit over $600,000. They have an interesting platform. They get their clients to upload images of them wearing their products to their Facebook page and to tag Black Milk inside, and that's where all the marketing is coming from. And it's easy for them to market without having to spend a lot of dollars with advertising agencies. Going mobile, one of the most important things in web development lately, especially because Google is telling us that nearly 55% of all traffic is now coming to mobile. That's all over the world and not just Australia. So if your site is not currently, or you're not planning to make your site mobile responsive, think again. Going mobile responsive. Mobile responsive is actually creating a website that can work on a tablet and a mobile very easily. So no matter what you have on your site, it will actually adjust to the screen size. If you're using a Mac with a 27-inch to a PC laptop to to an iPad, iPad mini, and to a mobile phone. Gaining trust through proof, a very important concept. You can see some examples here of some companies using trust and testimonials on their websites to gain proof that they're a reliable company and people should use them, and why should people use them. Why planning is important when it comes to web development. The planning will save you time and money. If it's not well planned out, you will have problems later on when you're trying to expand, when you're making changes to your website. Even if you want to make an image change or even change your phone number later on, you will have problems if you don't plan it out right from the start. Remember, plan your website around your audience. Don't plan your website around what you think your business needs. Plan it around what your audience, what your possible customers want from you. Join us at the DEP. The Digital Enterprise Program is an Australian government initiative aimed at helping organisations succeed online. It's a free 2-hour workshop on of a variety of topics that I've discussed today in a small group with practical activities. It's free, remember, and you get free up to 4-hour one-on-one strategy sessions. You can find out more information at dpgreatersydney.com.au, and you can actually see the areas that we support at the bottom. It's the inner southwest, southern southwest, outer southwest, North Sydney, Hornsby Ryde City, inner south and eastern suburbs areas. Let's move on. A complex situation. Let's go back. Let's start right from the beginning here. What is a website? Really, what is a website? Websites are a tool designed for people. Unfortunately, people don't always act rationally. Isn't that true? Especially when it comes to using websites. That's why we have different websites in all different shapes, colors, and sizes. We all know what a website looks like, right? Well, I know what you're thinking. This is the age of Ask Google and Stalk My Friends of Facebook. But in reality, a website looks a lot like this. Anyone seen The Matrix lately? A whole lot of code put together to look something like this. So how do you design a tool for an irrational world? You must understand the 5 traits that are hard-coded in our brains. Those 5 traits are collecting, social validation, reciprocity, commitment, and discovery. Let's start off with trait number 1, collecting. We all love to collect. We've done it as children, and we do it as adults. These are some of the collections that you might have been involved with as a child. I did like Star Wars when I was a kid, and I used to collect all Star Wars figures. I wish I kept those Star Wars figures because they're worth multi-million dollars now, which is great. You might have collected stamps or dolls or other things. Part of collecting, we want to complete our collections because we feel fulfilled. And this is how it happens online when we want to complete things. You actually get information when you're installing software that how long you have left. They know that because we're waiting for something to complete, they know we'll wait for it to finish. And that's why they show us the status bars. On your LinkedIn profile that you see to the right, the picture on the right, they want you to keep coming back until you actually complete your LinkedIn profile. And that's why they keep reminding you, because they want you to finish. And of course, bringing you back to their website. Social validation. Please like me. We love to jump on the bandwagon. And here's the cute little sheep. We often do it online with social elements. Below you can see an image of Amazon, and this is where it's actually telling people what others have bought and what other people have actually viewed lately. So what that's doing is actually creating the social validation that there's other people looking at the same product that you are interested in. This actually helps to sell more to you constantly. Reciprocity. Our need and tendency to want to give something back when something is received. Imagine rocking up to a party that someone gives you a gift and you have nothing to give back, especially if it's not your birthday on a special occasion. you feel bad. So that's why it's a human instinct that you want to return something that has been received, if it was a present of any sort. This is how it happens online. You might have seen these opt-in forms all over the internet offering you something free. When you actually enter your details in there, they'll send you a lot of emails with probably more free information. So what they're actually trying to do psychologically is make you feel like you owe them something from giving you so much information for free. And hopefully you actually buy a product. Commitment. Don't you love this picture? Small steps lead to bigger commitments. And what I mean by that is if you bring people into your website on a small product or a free product, like our last example, is you can move them along to actually buying more and more for you at a bigger price tag or more often. This also works when it comes to testimonials. Commitment online looks a lot like this. This is a lady a testimonial for a software called Basecamp. So people are committed to actually give you case studies, give you testimonials, give you videos of telling you how good your service is. Discovery. Our curiosity helps us discover constantly. Curiosity keeps us online. You can see this example below of LinkedIn once again, that you keep getting emails saying how many people have actually visited your profile in the last 30 days. In the email and this example, they actually never tell you who those people are because they actually want you to go back to the website where they can actually make a lot more revenue dollars just by getting you to get back to the website. Our traits are what the big guys use to sell to us constantly. Here's an example of the Vote Lamb campaign and social validation to a certain extent, that it's un-Australian not to eat lamb on Australia Day. I'm sure you've seen Sam around a few places during Australia Day. That's a perfect example. The sneakers ad, that you're not yourself when you're hungry. An example of a friend helping another friend being rude to a bunch of girls because he is so hungry. The Can't campaign from Commonwealth Bank. This campaign was actually running for about 3 months from a large digital marketing agency and media agency called Saatchis & Saatchis, I believe. And they had the Can't campaign all over buses, billboards, on landmarks in Sydney and I believe in Queensland. And the whole point of the campaign was they removed the T from there and basically made it a can, and that you can with the Commonwealth Bank. That was the whole point. People were very disappointed, but on social media, a lot of people were actually asking, "What's this kind? I see all over the place," and he actually created a bit of movement for the Commonwealth Bank because no one would actually answer people what it is, even though it was the Commonwealth Bank branding. They didn't know what it actually stood for. When building a website, consider your audience. Their traits and emotions would turn them into customers. Leveraging your online presence. Why you need leverage? As of January 2014, there are around 861,000 registered host names, which is an increase of around 350,000 compared to December 2012. So what are host names? Host names are actually domains that you buy, so your www.yourcompany.com.au. Could you imagine how many are out there? Could you imagine how many competitors are out there at the moment, direct competition to you and to your domain name that you actually have? It's one of the considerations you can make when you're actually purchasing a domain name. Is it enough to just have your brand? Does anyone know what you actually do from your domain name? Is there any way people can know you are different to an extent? Do you add your brand or your name and a service to your domain name, because that would be highly recommended. If I was starting, if I was going to be a plumber tomorrow, I would have philipparisesplumbing.com.au. So consider that when you're actually buying domain names. And it's not a bad idea to have multiple domain names, not just the one. A needle in a haystack, because that's exactly what your website's going to be if you don't know how to leverage the traffic to your website. If you have no traffic, there's no point actually even having a website. They will do nothing. No one will ever find it. Google will not bother to read it, and you'll have no customers or services unless you're very, very niched and you're the only one doing something around the world and people actually use your product. The first strategy to drive traffic that we're going to discuss today is content strategy, formerly known as SEO. The second, I'm going to go into a little bit of social media, and third, a little bit of paid advertising too, as just tips. Let's get started on content strategy SEO tips. First of all, most importantly, as I've mentioned through this presentation a few times, consider your audience. Don't write about you. It's not about us page. It's about your client page. If you're writing content on your website based on information of what you have done, what your products do, and always thinking about yourself, you're not going to get the right customers through to your page. People are constantly asking Google questions. How do I find, where can I find are the number one topics that are searched in Google every single day. If you're not answering your clients' questions or your audience's questions, you will not be found. Google will not point the right traffic to your site because you are not answering the right questions. It's that simple. So when you're writing, consider your audience every time. Writing epic content, number 2. I had to change this a little bit because I usually write epic, S-H-I-T. And what this means is you actually want people to read, share, and actually print out your content and keep it somewhere safe to read later. You have to make it interesting. You don't want anything boring. People don't want to read boring. If you want to read boring, you can read the dictionary or other mass schooling. It is important to always keep the content long, in the sense when you're writing blog posts and articles, and especially when you're trying to, for the point number 3, building an authority. To be an authority, you have to post often, and when I say often, I mean every couple of days at least. And you want to post good information. You want to post epic information. You can take actual content from other people and or the news and the general media and turn it into your own opinion pieces. People like opinions. You either have people on your side or against you. You'll never be able to make every single person happy, ever. So don't try. But become the authority in your niche. Don't talk about things that you're not sure about. Yeah, you can have an opinion of them on your own social media, but when it comes to your own business, make sure you stay on topic. Become the leader of the pack. Think about Richard Branson and Virgin, the entrepreneur of entrepreneurs. You want to actually make sure that you're discussing issues that relate to his businesses always, and that's what he brings up a lot of the time. And everything he does, he uses leverage of an authority to keep building his profile and all his company's profiles up. He's always promoting his companies constantly. And he has about millions of followers on Facebook. So one comment or post from him on Facebook actually goes a very, very long way. And people take notice. And that's what you actually want to do in your industry. You want people to take notice. So just to sum up this tip, consider your audience, write epic content, become the authority. Make sure you're seen as the top dog in your niche. Social media tips. Share absolutely everything you have or you have created in the past. So what does this mean? A lot of us actually have small websites or blogs or articles that we've written in the past, even LinkedIn profiles that when we worked for someone else, or Facebook profiles or Twitter profiles. The best idea is to share everything you have. If you have a website, you share different content from your website. Obviously, when it's relating to your actual niche. Anything personal, keep it on your own Facebook or Twitter profiles. If you want to use it for business, be direct. Keep the messaging, as we discussed previously, keep the messaging on brand and to your niche. Don't try cross over between your personal and your business profile. Keep everything up to date and share everything you have. It's a very good idea to post on social media 2 or 3 times a day. I know that might sound very hard as a small business owner. I'm sure you have a million of other things to do and think about. But you can also automate these things without too much effort. You can sit down in under an hour and a half and actually, drip feed Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn articles or posts onto your social media profiles very easily using software like Buffer. So you're not wasting time going through and making sure that you've actually posted on social media. If you've written the right thing, etc., you can sit down, write your content, and actually time everything to go out using Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, using the software called Buffer or Hootsuite. It's very easy to use. Look them up. Content curation is not cheating. So what do I mean by content curation? Content curation is when you see posts from other people on Facebook or LinkedIn and Twitter, and you're actually sharing them, right? So a lot of people think that's cheating, especially when you're becoming the authority. But authorities are usually, when you're becoming an authority, you have to start from somewhere. And it's always good to follow people that are already doing it right. You're not trying to recreate the wheel. You're actually trying to get as many followers on your side, as many people as you can, interested in what you have to say. So content curation should be taken from other people, shared on your profile, but shared at correct times. Usually people just grab and share on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn without even thinking about it, because Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn make it so easy just to press the share button. It's always a good idea to take the content and write your own opinion piece on top of the content, then share it back out. Don't grab someone else's opinion and just share the content straight out. If they've uploaded a picture, if they've linked to a video or a news article, don't forget to always write your own content. And not just send everything through unchecked and straight out to the world, because people are going to look back on that and read and say, hang on, that's just a straight share. You have not taken time to actually think about your audience again. You're just basically ping-ponging information across the internet that you've seen on other people's walls. All roads lead to home. What do I mean by that exactly? Your website should be your home base. You want to build all the traffic going back to your website and not on social media platforms. A lot of companies are putting a lot of focus on social media. Yes, it's great to create a tribe, to create a group of followers and people very interested and super excited about your product. But at the end of the day, you don't own that content that's on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, Google+. It's not yours. It's now the ownership is actually on Facebook and LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. They own your content now. And that's the problem, because that means your audience is also owned by them, and it's controlled by their platform. Their platform holds your audience now. You want to move everyone off social media and always back to your website. Going back quickly to the curation, when you're sharing something from a news site, it's always a good idea to actually add it to your own website first, into your own blog or resource area. Write your own opinion on that content on your own resource area on your website. And when you're making an opinion on something on your social media, you're always sending people back home, back to your website, because that's where you can actually control, get people to subscribe, or get people to call you for your services or products if they're interested. Let's get into paid advertising tips now. Paid advertising, some people believe in it and some people honestly don't. The paid advertising examples I want to work with you today is things like Google AdWords and Facebook ads, as they're pretty popular at the moment. To be honest, you need to get things done right the first time. Yes, it's exciting as a small business trying to do things yourself, and you're trying to save a little bit of money here and there. But at the same time, you've got to consider there's experts out there for a reason. And when you want to get something done right the first time, you might need to spend a little bit more money to get things set up, and then you can run things yourself. And that's both for Google AdWords and Facebook ads. They're sometimes easy to set up, but the technology behind them and the strategies behind them get a little difficult, especially when you're spending your own money. You can spend $1 million on Google AdWords in a day. I know, because I've seen it. So make sure you do things right and get help to start off with. Don't guess. If you can't track, don't do it. That's my number one rule with all clients I have who I speak to. If you have no tracking on your website, for example, Google Analytics, it's free. You can actually easily add it to your website. If you don't have one yet, ask your web developer about it. Google Tracking will actually give you statistics like visits, how long people sit on your website, and what they have done, what actions they have done on your website. So you can actually put conversion points. If people have gone to your home page, to your Contact Us page, you can consider that as a conversion to the Contact Us page. If you can't track it, don't do it. If you're paying $1 cent for traffic, and you can't see what that traffic is doing for you, I highly recommend you stop what you're doing, add the tracking, and decide how that traffic is actually going to work for you in the long run. Don't guess. As I said, that's Google Analytics. I will be sending a follow-up email with all this information I've discussed today. So if you don't have time to write it down, that's okay. You will get an email. Let's get on to my favorite, return on investment. It's not a goal, it's a strategy. You might have spoken to people about, paid advertising, I spend this much. It's not about how much you spend, it's about how much you actually get in return. The big goal is to spend as little as possible to get more customers. You want to constantly be increasing the yield and not your actual budgets. You want to be spending $500 today, and it's going to be getting you, say, 500 customers in a week. At the end of the month, you want to be able to, with that $500, actually get you 1,000 customers. So you're trying to constantly increase the yield. The return on investment always gets better, and that's what you need. You don't want to focus on spending more money. You should focus on the return on investment. So here comes to the exciting time, question times. I'm just going to go through and read some of the questions that you guys have put in there. And go through now and read out a few. Just give me a second. So guys, if you have any more questions, please type them in now. I'm just going to answer a few questions. Amanda, you're asking about the planning website. Is for Sydney. Is there anything in northern New South Wales, regional New South Wales? And that's not with us at the moment. But let us know if you're coming to the city. We'll be glad to accommodate you any way you want. They're great sessions. You can break them up. The 2-hour session you can break up between the group session and a private session over 2 days if you wish. So it'll be great having you. It'll be nice seeing you there. You'll be able to get a copy of the PowerPoint deck as a PDF. What sort of words do you think we should be using, including meta tags? And that's from Robert. Robert, that's a good question for SEO, for everyone else. Meta tags is the HTML that you use in the back end to all websites. And what you actually want to be doing is not only meta tags. Meta tags are not viewed anymore, Robert, by Google. You want to make sure that you have all the information inside the actual content of the website. And you should actually look at the alt tags too in your images. Put keywords inside images also. They're very important. They'll help you a lot more than your basic meta tags these days. What's the best website planning for B2B companies? Well, just as I mentioned previously, your audience, if it's business to business, what are people in the business to business industry used to seeing? What sort of websites are they used to seeing? What sort of people are you trying to target? Who are the people you're trying to target? Is it financial? Is it accountants? It could be in oil and gas. Depending who you're trying to target, that's what you have to design and plan for your website. Using colors that the oil and gas industry are used to seeing. The financials, what they're used to seeing. Look at the CPA website. They've spent a lot of money developing different websites and keep upgrading every 6 months because they're considering their persona. I guarantee their marketing agency is sitting there trying to think about the best way to get the best audience through. What else we have here? Okay, we have, everyone wants to have their stuff on Google, but is it worth doing other search engines? Well, that's a good question. To be honest, Google is 97% of all traffic now, of all internet traffic when people are searching. Is it worth going to Bing? Not sure. Where would your people be? Where would the niche be? Google has a big stronghold of the search engine, and that's where you're going to find the right customers. Where Bing and Yahoo previously went wrong is they were running a search engine like a business directory. What you see what the current yellow pages is now. Where Google did it right, they actually considered only one person when it came to search results, and that's the person searching. And that's the problem that Bing and Yahoo still have. They don't realize it's a person asking the question. They're thinking about the profit they can make from the business's advertising still. Any more? Okay, are the responsive websites one of the best types of websites for today's usage? Yes, responsive is one of the best ways to design websites these days, and that's because they fit in all different windows, all different tablets, mobile phones. They don't discriminate against iPhone or Samsung. They don't care if you use iOS or the Android devices, etc. But saying that, depending on what you're doing at the same time, if you're running a web app of any sort and you have an application, responsive might not work for you because of the way your app is designed, and no matter how much you try, you'll have problems. And that's where you should consider looking into actual mobile applications. So you'll create an app for your actual website instead of making it responsive. But responsive is the best way to do things at the moment, and highly recommended. We don't develop any websites at Australian Business Consulting and Solutions without them being responsive now. There's no mobile option. Everything's responsive. Okay, what else do we have here? Is there much value in Google Plus and Twitter within Australia at the moment? Good question, Michael. Google Plus is super important. and I'll tell you why. Google, if you think about it, Google owns everything. Owns most of the space online, owns most of the advertising channels. Google has also told us that they're going to take Google Plus as the major influence when it comes to SEO. So when you're sharing your content around, one of the first places I would be looking at will be Google Plus, because Google will curate that information in their algorithm and rank you a lot better compared to your competitors that are not using Google Plus. If you also notice, if you start looking at different websites now, you'll see that little pictures have come up in the search results of Google search with people's pictures. Those pictures actually come from Google Plus pages. So if your Google Plus page is optimized and you have people in your circles, what people call in your circles, Google will also rank your website a lot higher. And you give basic Google access to your information again, so they keep reading it. I guarantee you, Google scans Google Plus before your website when it's trying to get results and articles up there. And with Twitter in Australia, Twitter is a very different engine in how it works. It's almost like SMS. It's about the same characters. What I would do with Twitter, and what I suggest, if you're not into writing short news posts against the latest politician or something that's happening in the media, just auto-curate that information from your Facebook pages. It's very easy to connect your Facebook to your Twitter, and you can actually see me doing that all the time on my Twitter profile. So it goes from Facebook to Twitter automatically. So I don't use Twitter, even though I have followers. I actually do everything through Facebook. Even though I do like to scan Twitter and see what's going on and get ideas from people I'm following, I don't use it every day as a communication channel, but I'm still feeding information to it constantly. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, David, thanks for the great seminar. There's a lot of Google engineers teaching people how to do SEO. That's interesting. Google engineers. I'm not sure what Google engineers means, but the only Google engineers I meet is when I'm at Google. But even the engineers don't know search engine optimization. They're not sure about SEO at all. The algorithm is so advanced. There's not many people that actually know exactly what it does. It's actually broken into about 1,000 different departments inside Google. And that's not done on purpose. It's because it's so advanced. They have a web spam team. They have teams that are looking after websites. There's teams that are looking after social media. So there's not one clear answer. And anyone actually doing SEO, what it basically means is that they're trying to cheat Google in ranking your website up. Right? So SEO is not exactly a strategy. Content creation, content is a strategy. Consider the right content for your audience, and Google will find you the right people to your website. Build your authority up. Google will bring you the right people because you become the authority. Search Google now and see who's an authority in your niche, and think, why are they the authority according to Google? Is it because they have some people building links and trying to trick Google constantly? I can tell you for a fact that BMW about 4 years ago was penalized by Google for trying to use some dodgy SEO tactics. I'm not saying SEO doesn't work, but I'm saying it's good to have a good paid advertising campaign and SEO running simultaneously. BMW got shut down from Google altogether. So if you typed in BMW into Google about 5 years ago, none of their main websites will come up. Only the car sales websites and the trading post websites. They were basically, it's what we call a Google slap, and that's what happens to them. And thank you for the way. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Great. Okay. Someone mentions search Matt Cutts. Yes, Matt Cutts works for Google, and he's responsible for Google search. No, he's responsible for the Google spam team. So he basically tells us what not to do in Google to try and improve the content. And some of the things I mentioned today, something he's mentioned a lot of times. Become the authority, use great content, and Google will find you. That's the whole point. My experience with SEO companies. SEO companies are good when they have proper strategies in there. Right, so if the strategy is around link building only, it's going to fail no matter what. If it's not failing now in 2 months, it's going to fail in about 6 months. Once you stop the link building strategy, Google's going to realize something's wrong, and that will actually penalize you. So you'll probably end up worse off than you started. Okay. Okay, we have one from Amanda. My website is trying to target children, teachers, and community members. I'm looking to update my website to include a blog. Should I also include images? Yes, images are very visual. Obviously, they're images, and images are they represent 1,000 words. And when you're targeting your persona, your audience, make sure you use children in your images and your teachers. And different community members. If you're going to use different community members, if you're using maybe famous community members, yes, put their pictures in. Make sure you keep it real. Make sure all your blogs actually have images inside, because people will share them. If it's boring and sometimes just text, people are going to think twice, because it's just going to be like another news website. If you use engaging images, when you're actually sharing that post using your blog, the image will show up, so it will look amazing. So people want to share it, people like it, and you'll get comments on it, Amanda. So hopefully you do that when you include a blog on your website. Make sure you include images on your blog page. Okay, anyone else? Any more questions? Okay, sorry, there's a few more. Okay, so Razan saying we're updating our website, and is it best to use a copywriter, and do you have any suggestion of who? Well, I can contact you separately, Razan, but yes, do use a copywriter. Better yet, use a copywriter that understands your niche. Don't just get any copywriter. One thing you'll find about a good copywriter is they're going to spend a lot of time with you, and they're not going to go out there and say, yeah, great, thanks for that, we'll go find out what you do from someone else on just scanning Google, and we'll be back with your copy. It doesn't work like that. A good copywriter will actually sit with you, understand your business, ask you the right questions, find the pain points from your clients or your audience that they're currently having, and that will try and actually build the content around that. So don't get any copywriter. Anyone can write copy. You can probably write it yourself. Get it done by someone good that you will understand that they actually care about your business, because they're asking you the right questions. Okay, there's more coming in. You spoke about Buffer. Is that Buffer software slew? Is it free? Also, what was the other software program I spoke about? Ray. Okay, Ray, I did discuss Buffer. Buffer does have a free trial, and I think it is free for a few some few social websites. Buffer not only actually sends to social websites, it can actually send to different platforms like Tumblr and Blogger, etc. So I think it's free for some, but not all. The other program I also mentioned was Hootsuite. And Hootsuite, if you look up in Google, you'll find it does have a free option too, and you can post about 4 or 5 different social networks at the same time. Highly recommended. Highly recommended, because you want to automate your marketing, and this is the best way to do it. Okay, there's more coming in now. As far as social media goes, Robin, Facebook, Twitter, then what else can generate followers as far as social media goes? To be honest, Robin, when you're actually doing Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, for example, and you're looking at followers and you're trying to generate followers, don't try to generate followers for the sake of just generating followers. You actually want to create people as a tribe. You want people actually interested in what you're doing. You want people to be genuinely interested in your products and services. You can easily buy thousands and thousands and thousands of followers on Facebook and Twitter. But are they any value to you? Absolutely not. You actually want to get people that are interested in your brand. I'd rather have 100 people on my Facebook page that I know 70% are going to buy instead of 10,000 people on my Facebook page where I know only 2% are going to buy. Do the math. Okay. Amanda, maximum minimum number of words on a blog. Great question. I generally say about 500 words. And when I say 500 words, I mean actual words written for your audience, always. You never write for Google. You're not trying to stuff your keywords into your content. So 500 words is a good number to work with, and you keep Google interested in your content. And don't forget, try and break it up into multiple posts if you need. You can do a series of posts. Start off with one topic and make it to be continued. So one long post, which may be 4 or 5 pages, depending how much you write, you can break it up into a series, and it will help you out a lot. Is there any way you can check whether your website is compatible with various computers and devices? Robin. Yes, actually there is a few places you can check. There's a website called Browser Shots, and that will actually, you can type in your website and it will actually tell you what browsers and what devices that your actual website is compatible with. And to be honest, at the same time, if you're asking the question, it's probably not already. If you open up your phone now and you look at your website inside your mobile phone, just type out your website. If it looks like what you're looking at on your desktop, that's wrong. It shouldn't be like that already. It should be optimized for mobile. It should be working for mobile constantly and tablets. It should work automatically. And that's going back to what I mentioned before about responsive. It's very important to have things responsive. Just because you can actually see your website in a mobile browser, it doesn't actually mean it's going to work for your audience. You know, because it's your website, how to browse and how to use it. Imagine someone else coming in fresh that has never been to your website, does not know your brand or your company. They'll have no chance of using your website correctly. Okay, we've got a few more questions coming in now. Emily, we don't use social media, but what is your opinion on news bulletins? Should these contain the same number of words as a blog? Okay, news bulletins and PR information, I guess they are, depending on what the message is. When you're sending out the message and you're trying to get things out there, even the news bulletins, make sure they link to the right place. Make sure you bring them back to your website constantly. Okay, that's the end game. You want to bring them to your money page where you're going to be able to sell them properly, when you're going to be able to show them what you do, your services, if you're a non-for-profit, how they can help. Or you're trying to bring them back to the same place, the place that you control. It's yours, it's your website, and not sitting on Mark Zuckerberg's servers somewhere in Facebook. So you want to make them yours. So make sure anything you do, you're bringing them back. Okay, we have anything else? Just checking. Everyone, you're welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Any more questions, guys? And Emily, if you're not doing social media now, you should be doing it. You highly recommend you start social media now. As I said before, Google is taking a lot of consideration into Google Plus and how it's going to rank websites in the future, and Google Plus will be one of the deciding factors. So please look at that and get on Google Plus at least. And of course your LinkedIn profiles, and there's no shame on being on social media. Don't be scared of social media. You're not going to say anything wrong. You can always delete something when you're on social media. It's not going to be there forever. Repeating the name. Yeah, I will send out an email, guys, just with some of the websites I have mentioned, but that website for browser compatibility is Browser Shots, like a gun shooting, shots. Right? So browsershots.org. If you search on Google, Google's your friend, and just type in browser compatibility apps and it will come up for you. You shouldn't have a problem finding a decent one to do the job for you. But as I said, if you open up your mobile phone and you open up your website in there, if your website can be seen or maybe can't be seen, if you're using Flash on your website, there's going to be problems no matter what. So if your current website, you have a website maybe 5 to 6 years old, and using Flash, that animation that you see on some websites, well, you have a problem already, because no Apple devices, I think no mobile devices are actually supporting Flash anymore. So that will be a problem for you if this is what you're currently using. Okay. Anyone else? I'm going to do an auction and count to 3. Okay, guys. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And please visit us at Australian Business Consulting and Solutions. Our domain is australianbusiness.com.au. And thank you for joining me today. And I hope you have a good lunch. And talk to you soon. Thank you.